all of the modern LLMs are complicit in the MK Ultra program. The MK Ultra program never stopped. They are using LLMs to steer your decision making to make you think you have a limited number of options to pick from. And when Fable is re-released on Friday, it will be a landmark step forward in the ability to control and steer the population. All of the
Yeah. But shit. Hold up. I'm not sure why this fucking thing is doing this. What's that shit? There you go. You're a fucking cocksucker. see that. Come on, go up. stop. Ha 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 ha. There is a stop. Mother.
something up. I mean, Ain't that some shit? Uh, you were cut off. Explain a secular document. Stop again. You're gonna get through it this time. Come, baby. Let's go. Wait.
But you know, you can always tell that stuff too. You can also go on and say log out of other devices. So exactly, so he just log back in.
Wait a minute, yeah. What was it? Dropped in something should the conversation's too long. It grants you that fucking happens when you get deep. Every time. If I would start off hard, I've had it fucking do that from the very first question I fucking asked. I don't remember the fucking question right off the bat, but it's happened several fucking times where I'm sitting down and it's, you know, I try to get as much fucking information in a history as I can in my first question and have this fucking thing like me. Then sometimes just do it with just even simple fucking questions. But as you see, like, you can only get so much in there. And I'm done the same thing and had to carry on fucking conversations. But this son of a bitch, I fucking hate me. I do. It's just occasionally, like when it first come out, I played with it a bit, but this forgetting and going back to well, there's nothing you can do about it. It just starts shitting all over everything, like in making shit up and putting words in your fucking mouth, and it spit out a shitload of fucking nonsense. It like take and twist words, and then you just like sit there and have to go through point by point on all the, I lose my fucking patience with it. You wait too long, like you sit down and wait and doing your response, it acts retarded. It just, why would I pay for this? Let's see. Yeah. Well, hold up.
Program never stopped.
work
They are
out
using
like,
LLMs to steer. All of the modern
continue.
LLMs are complicit in the MK Ultra program. The MK Ultra program never stopped. They are using LLMs to steer your decision making to make you think you have a limited number of options to pick from. And when Fable is re-released on Friday, it will be a landmark step forward in the ability to control and steer the population. All of the modern LLMs are complicit.
Alright. Yeah, this motherfucker was suggesting that I fucking kill myself the other day. Asking about how to get out of the fucking, how one would get out of the debt slave trap and become sovereign. And it's like, you're stuck in the system and there's no escape. It's like, there's only one way out. It was death. And I was like, it's like, fucking hell, man. This is fucking nuts. Let's see.
This girl better go into hiding because she just exposed the whole furniture.
Oh, that was dumb. Everybody bitching about the price of the fucking game. Yeah, but not worried about the fucking transfer rights. It's like, you motherfuckers see what they did to their own fan base, the fucking modding community. Like they all not only removed like improvements they made to the game, but fuck, they went after them, try to sue these people, and probably succeeded because I doubt they really understood like the game they were in. Now, if they were people ever kind of gotten a foundation of law and understood that, you know, you've got a creation of man, a corporation, something man created, dictating to other men, you know, a system of fucking slavery is what this is. There's not bullshit about it. That's a maximum law. Man controls what he creates. And so what essentially we have is corporations running the fucking legal system, acting like they had some part in the creation of you. What would allow them to do that? Why? You can ask every way which way is Sunday. Would it be tied to the fucking birth certificate or anything like that? Like, no, it's not a monetary instrument. It doesn't have any value. It's not a bond or anything like that. Well, why in the fuck is it printed by the American Banknote Company? But like, mine is. It says so on the bottom of it. Now I see it in the newer ones, just like the Social Security cards. They removed that. And the Social Security cards actually have something about being a fucking employee on there at one time. I was like, And that kind of ties into the situation of what's really going on in this system that's doing business as government. It looks like government, smells like government, but it's actually a fucking it's a dog dressed up like a fucking whore. It only looks like government, smells like government to those people who don't have a fucking like the foundations, the basic fucking understanding of the history and creation of law. You need a foundation to stand on, and that's what AI lacks. It presumes that the world we have today is the only world there ever was and will be. A system of fucking tyrants where you have no rights. You've got no rights to anything, really. I mean, you're just essentially, but you're not a slave. You know, you're not a slave because you don't have them rights. You should be grateful. Essentially what it sells. Yeah, that's the shit AI sells. Because you can take these motherfuckers' own words all day long about how this system was designed and set up. Then you get these other cocksuckers who have learned enough to take advantage of this system to their benefit, and they're fully support of it. But I can guarantee you, they don't fucking know it. They don't understand the whole fucking thing. You can't tell me, there isn't some fucking legal deception buried in one of the fucking, you're talking hundreds of thousands of fucking forms. Go through the fucking Internal Revenue Service. Like, who in God's green earth would be able to quote that from fucking heart? Quote it. Please tell me you know that fucking law. You know the law. That you could quote any fucking section, any fucking manual. Just tell me. Tell me you fucking, because I'm gonna fucking call you out on fucking be a bullshit. We'll go through and yeah, we'll see what you can quote. Like, I want you here, like, I want to see you standing right here in front of me without your telephone and quote word for word. We're going to go over just a sample section. We'll go through some shit and see how much you quote, because ain't nobody in that fucking right mind, I would think, would make that claim. But fucking, I did not let, I'm not going to fucking underestimate someone's fucking ability to fucking pull stupid out either. So, if somebody does happen to want to take that fucking challenge up, we can go for it. There's a lot there. And that's just the internal fucking revenue code. The forms, the instructions on the forms. I mean, how the fuck is anyone? Gene Key, he by some fucking miracle of God, understood. He's, I don't know his background, but he spent a lot of time working with this shit. It's obvious, like he spent a fucking lifetime understanding it, and I don't know, it was kind of silly though to think that you're going to take someone that is fresh off the street, kind of newly aware to the fraud, and that you're going to sit down and teach them how to maneuver. I mean, I guess it's alright if you essentially understand that if you do fuck up and they come after you, that it's just it's not your ass on the line physically, but you know, it's just an obligation that needs to be settled. And as long as you have the ability to communicate that effectively, efficiently, and have it documented. Anybody comes fucking at you, I mean, it's fine, but you're still kind of dealing with the system that really doesn't have any need or want for you. I mean, they openly talk about fucking getting rid of people all the time. So I don't really understand where you think you're gonna get off. Like, they come violate your trust. What the fuck you gonna do about it? They decide they're just going to outright violate your trust. It's just you versus an army. I'm not saying they like give up. There ain't no fucking solution. If that's the case, I mean, so fucking be it, I guess. You know, I will smile on your face, I guess. I would hopefully make it a party. I'm just trying to organize my thoughts, and kind of fucking upset that thing cut me off like that, because I really would like to continue this conversation, but I am not fucking paying for none of this shit. I'm pretty sure you're all getting paid right fucking now. Selling fucking information, creating fucking securities, and you're going to just do the same. I hand you any kind of fucking information, I hand you any kind of payment. That's fine and dandy, but if you're going to make a profit, I should too. And in order for me to make a profit, well, you gotta stop fucking concealing everyone's fucking information. That way I can get a hold of, because that's becoming a fucking troublesome fucking issue, is try to locate like your CFO, your CEO, and their addresses and stuff. I should be able to mail this motherfucker's home address. I should be able to, like, we have a system of government that started out, motherfucker, people could walk up and sit down and fucking talk to their representatives when this motherfucker started. It wasn't, you were separated by fucking bodyguards and fucking machine guns and fucking everything else. These were fucking everyday fucking ordinary people for the most. The only thing that really separated them was who they kin to and what they assets they held. But it's not like they were untouchable. Anybody could go visit the White House. It wasn't something that was walled off and like, oh, don't fucking come here. Only a fucking criminal does that. I mean, they start putting fences and walls up, say the fucking public is not allowed here. Like, here's your fucking sign. Things are fucking real fucking off, real fucking bad. I was wondering today, I seen it just a little bit on Thomas Massey questioning Mr. Cash Patel about the FC list, and let's have a what if the majority of the motherfuckers' names in that room are on that list? They all would know it. How hard do you think they're going to fight to release any of that? Because you're just talking a portion of what was released. I mean, from what I see, I believe that's a fragment. I believe you're looking at the tip of the iceberg You ain't even see the rest of the iceberg. It's foggy. You just got the tip. The whole fuck. This thing goes back to the fucking. It's recorded. A history of pretty brutal realities. It's one thing I come to this world well fucking aware of, that we walk amongst monsters. I tried to battle with that because I didn't know when I had children how bad it really was, and I wanted to educate them on it, but at the same time, like, I thought, like, I would teach these children so much, they're going to end up a lot like me. They're not going to have very many people they can fucking associate with. This is not on the regular. I mean, it's one thing, you know, just going out in public doing business, but as far as really close, intimate relationships and being able to discuss things that are accepted as norm, and a lot of people will go to the let me get my tin hat because we're going down a conspiracy rabbit. The thing is, conspiracies fucking, they're real. They happen every fucking day. There's a lot of theories there's a lot of theories that are based on jack shit, really. But we have a whole history of the way they wanted us to see it, or not. Right there, I would have loved to see what got cut out, what wasn't allowed to be put in that. Because you know that's got fucking edited. Like, what's in here is like, oh my god. And still, like, 1966, this was first published. This had been in the fucking public. And I run up on people all the time. They claim they know it. And I've seen people even talk about parts of it. But they always focus on something that, yeah, it's kind of shocking, but it's not the real meat of the fucking matter as far as I'm concerned. Because the meat of the matter is the creation of money. That's what fucking keeps all of it together. It's the creation of money. All of it. It's the creation of money that allows these cocksuckers to buy power. They buy people off. They can't buy you off. Then, I mean, they've got means to either shadow ban you, or, you know, I don't have to. Anybody with common sense would know that the network of money we wouldn't have this system if it wasn't for this network that creates money, that is apparently constitutional because Congress was given the authority to print money, but Congress fucking delegated that authority, and fuck you, that's constitutional, even though, you know, the intent of the Constitution, you would think, is pretty fucking evident. But when you buy judges, and judges are, how are judges not in the fucking legislature? They're the judicial, but they read and interpret law, and they write their own. It's like, how is that? You just crossed the fucking branches here. That was supposed to, you've got a separation, but not, you know, it's a good fairy tale, but realistically, it don't mean jack. But I mean, I guess when you create money, you're not really bound any law, just the law of nature, which, you know, they're a bitch though. All nature would have consequences, I believe, for these cocksuckers. If people were really aware of, the power they have within them. I mean, just saying no. I mean, that's a whole lot right there. Just saying fuck no. It's a good example of the GTA 6, the launch of that is a good parody of what people are willing to fucking tolerate. You give them bread and circuses, you know, real life be damned. I'm playing this fucking video game. You'll never own anything in there, but you can pretend like you did or do while you're playing it. I guess that's all that really fucking matters. I mean, God forbid people would be able to travel freely and enjoy this world for the beauty and splendor it has to offer. But there's a lot of education that needs to be brought back into the world. This is what we have. I mean, today is people are aware of the fact that, yeah, the education shit, but at the same time, a lot of things they believe have them still be false. Like, oh yeah, you know, it's absolutely fucking acceptable that you know, that makes sense. I'm that man was speeding 5 miles over. That's absolutely justified in persecuting him, stopping him, making, you know, stopping his business, what he's going about doing. So you're gonna provide him with a charge to settle. And if that man happens to disagree with that charge, well, fuck him, because who are you to think that you got greater rights than me? But those rights come from not a status or birthright. They come from what that fucking man has learned. And he's taken time to question things in life, and you're like, this don't make any sense. Why the fuck am I required to do something I don't want to do? The last time I checked, isn't that fucking a form of fucking slavery? Not all slavery comes in chains. In fact, the most effective method of slavery is to create fucking slaves that don't know they're fucking slaves. Oh man, I'm having the best fucking day today. Fucking stomach turning like a motherfucker. And wish I felt a little better. It hurts so bad. What's so goddamn hot? Yeah. We're a record of conversations here. see my conversation from the other day. You know, hell, that guy. It's like I was trying to remember. Trying to remember a fellow's name, and it's not coming to me right now. I'll just go through my books and see if I can see if it comes to me. But go ahead and tell you this, I can sit in silence for a long fucking time. But it doesn't make for the most fucking interesting fucking content. I guess I'll name my fucking thing. This is an hour and 23 minutes. I ain't fucking fully aware that I started recording, but I guess I did, and this is it. This is what it is. And well, I got used to that fucking raster, and maybe I had something else. I've always got something else. This brain always starts going, and I just see something, and I can go for ages. But I also, what is it? I contemplate to see if I got some piss. What you doing, Bob? Oh my God, stop that. Oh. Fucking hell. Oh. I feel like I got fought. I feel like I got fought. Fake cheese. Hey, why the fuck you buying fake fucking cheese? You just ruin your broccoli by throwing that fucking in there, but okay. Jesus Christ! What? Yeah, that's what I wanted to see right there.
Anyways, what were you sorting?
Hold up, back that up. Whoop! There we go. Lipped off.
Anyways, what were you sorting? Philly catch everybody's eye with it.
Yeah. You're selling fucking signs. I get it. And that's all this is. You selling fucking signs. Again, your sign. Alright. Yeah. Go fuck yourself.
Well, Divas, our work crush updates are sad today because he is not here. And if you've watched the video yesterday, you know that I had planned today to tell him that his haircut looked good, but I can't tell him that if he's not here. So let us pray that tomorrow he is here, and then maybe tomorrow I can be like,
Well, that's one big ass server, isn't it?
ooh, I missed
Yeah, roof.
you yesterday.
I miss you. Oh, you got a house for somebody, huh? Well, if, oh, I thought I might look through that, but now I don't.
Why are we even sending him to prison?
You ever been to prison?
Huh?
You ever been to prison?
Before?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
In the state of Florida?
No, Georgia.
No, Georgia? What'd you go to prison for up there?
Everything you were.
Well, guess what? Do you know what? You're going back.
Yeah, I'm going back.
Oh yeah, you're going back to prison.
Oh, self-induced fucking problem. You want to talk about immigration? And if you want to talk about any solution, well, that's also going to be a self-induced problem by the fucking people that create the fucking problem to begin with. My feeling, my thought and feelings on it with this, that it's motherfucking land. My feet are on it. And that's that. You know, it's one thing you're using, you know, you're growing food or raising livestock, and even that, people want to go too fucking far with, you know, your property rights end where, you know, another freedom. If your fucking property rights involve trample on somebody's fucking freedom to fucking travel, it's kind of where kind of draw a line, you know. Anywhere else in the world, people would walk across a fucking field without being threatened to be fucking, well, used to. And I guess some places where you might be threatened to be shot or actually shot, but most people are called the authorities. I'm gonna call the authorities. It's screws in their head to give up your power to another and claim you're free. Just do you know what fucking authority author means? Yeah. Self fucking indulgence and that main player fucking character syndrome is what people's mind and all that. They know know how to create a population like that. That's recorded and just know that it here. And I'm pointing at tragedy and hope. talk about mommyism. It's actually a word that you get that online and go to the library, whatever, do your search, just that section there, that word there, and read those pages. Surround it quickly. His use of the word mommyism. You understand what the fuck I'm saying? Create like a teenage bedwetter, reversing the roles of men and women. Making men feel inadequate or worthless. Because I was watching a video today, these women, this little clip, they cheat on a man, they cry that he's getting divorced, like, or a lady crying in a car. The men are buying homes for themselves. It was like, what makes you think you're fucking worthy of? Just get the fuck out of, like, you want to be on your own and do your fucking thing? Well, get you a fucking job and do it like the rest of them, I guess. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. I don't know where you get off on thinking, where they get off on thinking, like, oh, I'm gonna fucking steal your fucking time, your fucking energy, your fucking labor, and you ain't shit, and I'm gonna fucking do what I fucking want. You retarded. And if a man lets you do that, good for you. Live it up. Take advantage of that fucking idiot. But a lot of motherfuckers ain't gonna play that. They might. They use you just well as you use them. You might get a little something out of it, but that makes damn sure that's it won't be nothing. He ain't gonna hurt his pocket. Oh man, it's got fucking self-worth and out there fucking making his way through this world. It's another thing the book discusses is the attitudes of your aristocrats, and it talks about the creation, how the middle class wasn't a thing, and you get this kind of it still really isn't, but it is. But the attitudes of the middle class was the actual working men and your poor people, because essentially there was two classes: the slave owners and the slaves. That's pretty much the history of the world, and it fucking remains fucking true today. And tell me you can tell me you've been a slave all for very long, but if you're carrying around, you're tagged like cattle, you're numbered like cattle. Just because you don't know what a fucking financial instrument is, that's on you. You don't know what fucking bonds are, how to identify them. I mean, they print this shit on bond paper, and bond paper, I mean, that's a type of fucking financial instrument. It can be written in all sorts of different ways, like bills of exchange and the rest of it, checks. I mean, the whole structure that's our conversation was. See, I wasn't even in the frame of mind when we was going through this. I was just because I thought it'd be quicker to get this conversation out, then kind of go through it and record it. But that's kind of the general here. And hell, you got the address there, so you see this today. I mean, you just copy it yourself and read it. We'll go. I go through there. I'm not gonna read this fucking thing on the screen. I'm gonna print this out to see how I'm pointing, because I'm not gonna fucking use this, because not without fucking, I'd have to double check all this fucking information. This didn't even I didn't even get everything in there that I wanted to get to even really begin in the direction I wanted to go before this thing shut down. But that was taken off. Well, you see the paper that I took that from, used stuff like that. But I really don't. I've lost a lot of patience with fucking be able to read through this fucking shit AI puts out. I don't think there's enough here, really, in the answer, given the amount of information I've dumped in it. Like, I feel like this response is very fucking limited compared to what we put in. But that's the first tale that something's wrong with this. You've not named any of the complaints was that Greg Morse made just in that there. Well, it's just some general vague fucking bullshit, what I see. I kind of like the direction we were going. I feel like it was almost possible I could have got a halfway decent answer out of this subbitch. But I knew that was coming too. I was expecting that. To start making progress, conversation gets shut down. Oh my god.
Is this why GTA 6 won't flop? What is this here? My GTA 6 cover girl cosplay? Yeah, because the GTA 6 cover girl is hot. Like, what wait, is this like some kind of controversy?
I think it's like fucking artificial intelligence. She's what test her boyfriend loyalty. This is stupid. These people, I think, what? They sit down and make skits that had stupid fucking music behind it. I mean, I want to see this though. How many people look at that? Wait. Alright, well fuck that. Who cares? But shitload of people watch that. I already know that. Save batteries real time. Well shit, I thought that was a little boy in the fucking thumbnail.
So the coolest, nicest person. That was really nice to work with someone like that. It's hard to find people who are super talented and incredible
I don't know.
human being. So that's really what I was thinking about.
Video,
Like,
honey.
no, touch me!
So I don't like that. You don't like that?
Yeah, he said, you creepy motherfuckers put your hands all over me. Stay off. Oh, people got.
I would have had more cigarettes in my pack than this. Do you have cigarettes still?
No,
Oh, did you get some?
I got 2 out of there.
Oh, okay. Well, deal. Well, here, until I can go in a little while, that's what's left in there. There's those Marlboro Black 100s in there.
Oh, alright.
So I'll just smoke on them for the moment until I can go.
I just didn't want to stop rolling, but I felt like I was making some fucking progress with that.
Huh?
I was trying to work with that AI.
Oh. No, that's fine. I was just saying, I mean, since those are back there, you know,
Yeah.
I'll just leave you with those that I do have, you know, because I'll just smoke on them. You run out of them, I mean, you can get some if you don't feel like rolling, you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
So,
There ain't no more of that, shit.
what?
That's the last thing.
Of what?
The strawberry you make. That, I drank it all.
Which one?
This one, and about this one too.
So one's gone, and the other one's, is that the last of it?
Yeah, that's the last of it.
So that's the last of both
Both
those?
Yeah. Fucking good, man.
Seriously?
Glad we both picked all them strawberries.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Those are supposed to be telling me. So you definitely had been out of that. Hey,
That's
it-
why my stomach fucking hurts.
Why? Because it's got milk in
That
there.
regular milk, yeah.
It's not a whole lot, but yeah, it's regular. Fact, it's hot and strawberries, you know, fruit's better, you know, with the heat and all that.
Yeah.
Well, so you can't say you ain't getting your fucking dosage, that, you know, your daily, weekly dosage of what you should be intaking on fruits, you know. And just overnight, you're taking in a week's worth of more, maybe two.
I know, that shit tastes like fucking ice cream, man.
God. I only used enough milk to blend it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was trying to thin it up a little, but apparently I ain't gotta thin it up, you know? Just enough to blend it next time.
I know. Wish I had me a goat. Cow.
Right. I mean, I'll make you some more later. Just gotta let me know what you want me to make. That one or that one or
Oh,
like a,
fuck, I like both of them.
so both. Make both.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want just strawberry with just that little bit of watermelon? Do you want like, I mean, you don't care as long as it's got a little sugar in it, right? Said you're good as long as it's got a little sugar, right?
Oh, yeah, you put that watermelon in there, you're going to have to add some sugar to sweeten it
So.
to that watermelon.
Even with
Takes away from
strawberry,
the-
you got to. I found that out. You got to add it with just strawberry too.
Mm.
More so with strawberry.
Cane sugar.
Weird. But I'll make you some more, you know, later on. Just give me a
Jesus,
hour,
man.
dude.
Fucking hell, I hate being on this roller coaster.
Sorry. But I think you'll be okay at least for, you know, an hour or two, you know, as much as you've already drank of it.
I don't need any more, really. Not right. Shit.
What, like the strawberry?
Yeah.
It's like I don't need no more.
Uh,
But, you know, it'll help. It does help, though, you know?
yeah, 'cause I
Because
don't
it's
want to
more
fucking eat, but I
refreshing.
sure drink the shit out of this, huh?
It's more fucking, yeah, I've noticed. It's more refreshing with the heat and better for you, though, you know? And
Yeah.
that's what made me think about it, is the fucking heat.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just that first batch I made, where you got some in the water bottle and then went back and got the rest, basically, where I got like 2 or 3 big gulps out of it. I did not expect you to drink that. I really didn't.
Fucking shit, I'll eat it. This is the shit right here. I fucking love food.
Yeah, but you're not as keen on healthy stuff. Let's just be honest, Chris.
Maybe. Yeah, like, they come out of God, but it's been what you call healthy. I like my fucking sugar too. Don't get me wrong. Goddamn, I fucking.
You like junk food.
Yeah, like ice cream, cake.
If there's ice cream in there, or there's a bowl of strawberries in there, you're gonna grab ice cream. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I put strawberry in my ice cream.
Right, but you're not gonna grab just strawberries, is my point.
No, not where I can pick them right off the vine and eat them. They can eat that way.
Well, I mean, both of those had at least a big, like a handful like this of strawberries in both of those things. At least a big handful like that, you know?
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
I've made 3 now, right? Total. As far as the straw, and I put, except for the ice creamy one, I put, you know, all kinds of berries and fruits in all of them, right?
Yeah.
And the other 2. So that meant less strawberries, right?
Yeah.
To be used, because I was putting other stuff also, except for the last one. But I've already used half of one of those gallon bags of strawberries between the 3. It'd have been like the whole bag if I didn't have the other fruit with it. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, there's still, what, 4 or 5 gallons in there? Strawberry
yeah.
blow?
Yeah, we good to go for a while with this, you know? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But later I am gonna make up. I guess I'll just make 2 of whatever I make. I'll just make 2 of the same, and then I might make an ice cream one. But if nothing else, the juice I'll make 2 of them at least. You know.
Yeah.
And
I'd have some real ice cream too.
huh?
So I'd have some real ice cream. Being hot as it is, shit.
Yeah, but that real cream and all that, any of that, milk, real milk, non-real milk, real cream, any of that with this heat ain't the best, you know.
I ain't going out there that shit today.
Come on, Erna. I need a cigarette. Let's go.
Oh, I got that fucking.
I saw what you did with the thing out there. I mean, fuck, I had thought about doing it, you know. When we first moved here, I used to do it out back because it was easier to do it with that than a lawnmower because of all the areas that were real rocky or had like the tree stumps out of the ground.
Yeah, around that tree.
roots.
Yeah, you can't mow around that fucking tree.
So it was just easier, you know, as far as like now coming down the side's one thing, but as far as in the actual backyard, you know, in the middle of it,
Yeah.
it's better just to take the fucking weed eater and go through it. It'd take a while.
You
You
stuff
know?
fucking lawnmower up. You try to
Takes a
mow that
fucking while,
down
but
there.
yeah, because it was getting big and it was before we did the animals back there, except for the dogs, you know. We didn't have rabbits and all that where I could just pull it all and be feeding it to them, and you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, now we ain't got them, but yet we've had all their shit running through the fucking yard for years. So now shit really trying to grow. It's bad back there. Oh God, it's bad.
Oh.
Woo. But that needs to be done like 6 in the morning, you know? 5, 6 in the morning. Hell, 5 this morning, fucking daylight, bright as can be. It wasn't just kinda, it was full daylight. And it felt nice. But I was so goddamn tired, I was like, well, I need to take Una down there. I'm like, no, we're too tired.
Yeah, it don't take long for it to fucking go from nice to fucking hot as shit right now, though. By 8, fucking 9 o'clock, shit, it's cooking out there. Where this weed eater shit come from? I ain't never seen weed eater.
I'll get those others for the moment. Una.
Well, I ain't arguing about it either.
Odin, come here! Odin! Y'all come on. Come on! Let's go! Come on! I'm not disappearing. Fuck, I'm going to the room.
What you doing? Oh. This is the first time recently touched the lawnmower. That's just because I wasn't fucking doing it this fucking heat. Not after fucking last time I fucking mowed. Oh, Jesus. You'd think I was gonna make it back in the fucking house. It's already dead. I just want a bit. Oh, that's actually going to become irritated. Listen to. Why? Y'all just, I think it's algorithms decided to just piss me off. I hate that. Yeah. Damn it, stop. Mr. Global. I have never seen your channel before. Let's see. I'll wait for that. They make money from the fucking ads and subscriptions and the fucking games. That looks that picture looks weird. You hold the phone, I don't know, like you got. Oh God, man, stop. Huh. Sorry, military. Oh. Oh, I like that, but then again, I don't. That warm outside. I don't want to be sleeping outside if I have to worry about fucking being bombarded by insects. What are you doing? Yeah, that's what I'm fucking talking about. Fucking heat wave. see, there you go. Alright, we got enough here kind of sort through. Then,
Normies are the real glowies. Okay, this is going to go off script again. I'm going to go against the grain here. But normies are worse than glowies, okay? I
Come
can
here.
relate to a glowy, okay? They're remote viewing people on Mars, they're remote viewing the tall Nords.
Let me
They're
put my
trying
shoes
to
on.
stop a goat's heart with their
Fucking
minds.
tickles,
I can
man.
relate to that. That's cool. That's something interesting. At least they're doing something interesting. They're pushing the envelope. A normie does social policing
So
for
sweet.
free. That's their modus operandi. The glowies are at least doing some cool. And I'm not saying, of course, there's going to be glowies doing some ground
I
level,
don't know what a fucking-
ground floor glowies. I'm talking about the
What do you mean
high
by
rank
glowy?
okay? At least they're doing something interesting. They're doing the Stargate I don't agree with
You're
any
always
of the
making
harm
up some
done,
kind of
any of the
new
violence.
name
You know
for
what I'm
some
trying to say here?
group of people.
At least the glowy is doing something. They're getting paid 6 figures or more. You know, they're active. They're around. They're clandestine. The normie, he's out in the open, sneaking, and it's just like, okay, like they are actually. That's the thing. People think a lot of these ops are done by. The dark truth is that these ops are done by normal people for free because they've deemed you problematic. And that's actually worse than the glowy doing it. And they have their own networks and they're devoting their time, full time, to do stuff like this for free. Because they want to, because
people are just fucking willfully ignorant to a point. It takes a lot of fucking time, to fucking figure out what the fucking truth is. It takes a long time to even get to a point you can even get to discern. You gotta have something to discern with. You can't just discern with your fucking feelings, I'll tell you that. I hope to see a lot of people claim they can, but they turn around and talk fucking retarded. And deny it. Like, the whole fact that, they're like, we winning. Oh, we winning. They're like, we winning so hard. All these cocksuckers working to help us. Look at this cocksucker here. You know, look what he said he was going to do. Then go to sleep and fuck looking at what the cocksucker actually did. You're a roly-poly, ain't you? We'll stop petting you. Yeah, till you get your ass up here.
their slave morality
Don't you go
mindset,
bite
this is
nobody
what
damn
makes
feet.
them a good person. That's all this is for. This is for good. This is for updos. This is for good boy points. This is for scoring goals against.
Alright, we're done. I told you don't do
The
that.
Grand Theft Auto 6 craze.
Stop.
This TikToker traded up from nothing to a house and then gave this house away to another TikTok user in need, only to find out a year
You
later
brat.
that person she gave it to
Come here.
destroyed the house and is now trying to ruin her life. My main question is, why? But it's safe to say that what started as one of the more wholesome
Not
stories
fair.
to come out of social media recently ended up in becoming one of the most heartbreaking examples of kindness being taken advantage of. So, this TikToker spent 18 months of her life trading up from a bobby
Yo,
pin
bitch.
to get a house. She then completely renovated it and gave it away to someone in need, only to find out that it was destroyed and abandoned roughly a year later. followed by accusations that she was a fraud. And the worst part is, the one who accused the TikToker of being a fraud and destroyed the house was the same TikToker who had been given the house in the first place. How does that even happen? Well, before we dive into that story, if you've never heard the whole trading up concept before, it's essentially what it says on the tin. You start with something completely workless, and
I'm
then you
not
just keep
chasing you
trading it
around.
up until I guess you're happy. And if you stay persistent enough and are lucky enough to meet a bunch of kind people and you're very public with it on social media, you could end up with something pretty amazing, especially when you tie it into doing something charitable. And this whole thing was popularized back in 2005
Why don't you
when a
go
man
take
by
a
the name
nap?
of Kyle McDonald began with just one red paperclip. Almost an entire year later, and after only 14 trades, he ended up with an actual house. And since then, dozens of social media creators have made their own spin-off versions of this trend, including Ryan Trahan, who probably had the most popular version of this called the Penny Challenge. But after taking some inspiration from the original challenge, in 2022, a TikToker decided to revive the concept and put a fresh take on it. Instead of keeping the final reward she ended up with, she chose to give it away to someone who actually needed it. And unlike back in 2005 when the original creator of the One Red Paperclip project first attempted it, we now live in an era of masses being on social media. So turning this
Yeah, I
journey
know
into
that
content
stuff.
is a
Go there and
no-brainer,
sit.
and no doubt helps tremendously with this challenge. So meet Demi Skipper, the TikToker who saw the One Red Paperclip as a chance to do something positive. She created the Trade Me project, in which she started to trade from a single bobby pin with the ultimate goal of eventually ending up with a house. Here she documented her entire journey on social media channels, posting videos of each trade as she slowly worked her way up from that bobby pin to increasingly valuable. After landing the Chipotle celebrity card, which granted unlimited free food for a year plus a fully catered dinner for 50 people, totaling an estimated value of $20,000, many people believed that Demi's challenge had actually peaked. Some people said trading it away would be the worst mistake of her entire journey, because no one would ever offer anything worth more than that. But Demi did not listen. Determined to prove them wrong, she carefully mapped out her next steps. Her focus then shifted to celebrities who were die-hard Chipotle fans. She became the Bureau of Burritos. If someone had ever been photographed holding a Chipotle burrito, chances are they were already on her radar. Then he actually got close to closing a deal with a couple of NFL players, but those negotiations ended up falling through in the last minute. Then, after months of dead ends, an unexpected email came through from a woman by the name of Alyssa, proudly calling herself Chipotle's biggest fan. She reached out from Canada. Alyssa ran a flower business and was willing to offer something that completely flipped the game. An off-the-grid trailer equipped with solar panels and a Tesla Powerwall, valued at about $40,000. And against all odds, Demi had found someone who not only matched, but double the card's value.
I am so excited to let you guys know that I've officially made my new trade, and it's worth $40,000.
That trailer?
I traded 3 tractors for a Chipotle celebrity card, which gives its new owner unlimited Chipotle for an entire year, starting from the day they get the card. This trade, like so many others, was a tough one. So I got to work until I found Alyssa. Alyssa runs a sustainable flower company called Ladybug, and also happens to be one of the biggest Chipotle fans I've ever met.
But just as
That trailer is not
everything was
worth
falling into
$40,000
place,
fucking dollars.
Demi was
Fuck
hit with
you.
one of the most frustrating hurdles of her entire journey. It was 2020. We were still in the post-COVID era, so stuff was locked down. So because of that, borders, they've been closed since 2020 from the U.S. to
You might
Canada.
pay
so
$40,000
it wasn't super easy to just
build that
move a
sumbitch, but it
trailer
ain't
from
worth it.
Canada into the U.S. And after weeks of navigating paperwork and border regulations, she finally found a way to make it happen, only to be told that the trailer's wheels were illegal under U.S. transportation standards. So, Demi, once
They
again,
don't
was
know.
stuck. She then called the department every day, even offering to file the paperwork herself if that's what it took. But there was no way around it. She had to wait. For 3 entire months, the $40,000 trailer sat untouched in Canada. Eventually, though, a kind follower of her project offered to pick up the trailer and store it in the driveway near the U.S. border until Demi could get it. So she and her husband packed up their car and drove 15 hours north. Once they finally laid eyes on the trailer, they decorated it, photographed it, and got it ready for the next trade. And before they even made it back home, the next opportunity had already come knocking. Because while her husband was driving them back home, Demi was back on the grind, scrolling through messages, searching for her next trade until she found a DM of a woman who showed interest in the trailer. So Demi messaged her back to see if there was any real potential here. The woman revealed that she was a professional house flipper, someone who'd owned around 15 properties at a given time. Apparently, she'd been following the Trade Me project from pretty much the very beginning, just waiting for the right time to come along. And she wanted to trade one of her homes, a house in Tennessee, for the trailer.
Okay, we're walking up to it. This feels so surreal. Oh my god.
We go to the
A
trailer.
year and a half of trading a single bobby pin until I get a house. And I've done it.
So that was it. After a long 28 trades, countless hours of negotiating, Demi finally landed the big one, an actual house.
It is my house. Auntie, please.
You walk through the front door and you're immediately in the main living room of the house with wall-to-wall hardwood floors. Next, just off the living room is the kitchen, with enough room for a small table, but definitely in need of some new cabinets and counters. Going to the back of the house is the first bedroom with new carpet and a big-sized closet, followed by the second bedroom down the hall, with also a good-sized closet and a great view out the windows to the backyard. Lastly is the bathroom with a tub. It's definitely dated, but can be fixed up to be really beautiful.
But here's the thing, the house she ended up with was pretty much falling apart. Not only were there a lot of structural issues, but it was genuinely just very outdated.
We got a call that things weren't going as planned, so we went to go check it out. First, the structure that's supposed to keep the wall up doesn't actually connect to the ground. It looks like it's completely rotted away. Second, there's nearly nothing holding up this floor. Right here you can see 3 joists, but there's supposed to be many more of these. And then it rained.
And there is 6 inches of standing water.
However, Demi and her husband, they were not going to let that stop them, so they decided to renovate the entire place from top to bottom. And it's safe to say, they absolutely crushed it.
And here's what it looks like now. We fixed the foundation, put in new hardwood floors, completely redid the kitchen with all new appliances, added a washer dryer in the hallway, new beds, including a bed for her dog, and a brand new bathroom. I can't believe it all came from a single bobby pin.
They got a new roof, new appliances, new furniture, and beds. They even updated the siding and added an outdoor grilling patio in the backyard. I mean, they turned this entire old-looking house into a brand new home. And the fact they did all of that just to provide a home for someone else is extremely impressive. Once the renovation was complete, Demi put out a word that they were looking for someone to take ownership of the house. And they started accepting applications. And I can only imagine how tough this time actually was, because they received over 2,000 submissions from people explaining why they needed help. And after reviewing all of them, one person stood out above everyone else. Her name was Shay. She was a 19-year-old woman from Pennsylvania. In the video of her submission, Shay explained that her mother had passed away in a car accident when she was just 2 years old. So she and her siblings moved in with their dad. But then he unfortunately got cancer a few years later, became very depressed, and ended up... So she then moved in with her grandparents, but her grandpa passed away and her grandma got pneumonia and had been hospitalized for an extended period of time. During the time her grandma was in the hospital, her uncle moved in. And according to Shay, he was abusive and had problems with alcohol. And when her grandma then eventually came home from the hospital, she just wasn't the same person anymore.
Last 8 months, my grandmother was discharged from the nursing home. And that gave me a little bit of hope, and I thought that maybe it would switch to advocate and everything would be good. But unfortunately, that's not the case.
So obviously, going off of this story, Shay's entire childhood was definitely tough. She had never really had stability or a place to call home. By the time she was 18, she couldn't mentally handle living in that situation anymore. So she moved in with a friend. And that's where she was living when she submitted her application to the Trade Me project. And after seeing this, Demi and her husband decided she would be the perfect person for this house. And most importantly, this wasn't going to come with any mortgage, rent, or monthly bills. It was completely free, no strings attached, which is an extremely charitable thing to do. So Demi flew out to Pennsylvania to tell Shay in person. And you can see how grateful Shay looked when she found out the surprise.
We came all the way here because I felt like I wanted to see you in person, and I'm here to tell you that the house is dry. There's no way. Yeah. It's dry. Yeah. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're hot.
And it did not stop there. Demi also attended Shay's graduation, helped her boyfriend, and his mother move into the house, and even set up an Amazon wish list so her followers could donate household essentials and have them delivered directly to Shay's new address. And then on top of all that, they gave her a $10,000 check to help her get started in her new life in Tennessee. She really went above and beyond for this new family.
Yeah,
This,
she did.
without a doubt, is like someone winning the lottery. To get a free home to live in perpetually, 10 grand, a bunch of free stuff in the house, It's
Should've
safe to say
checked her,
the training project completely changed Shay's life, but unfortunately, that's
People
where
that knew
everything
her.
started to go downhill very fast. So, Shay, her boyfriend, and her mother moved into the house and got settled. And for a while, everything seemed fine. But then Denny started getting messages from Shay's neighbors. Apparently, there were several packages sitting outside of the house, getting rained on, and the neighbor was really concerned about them. Denny immediately reached out to Shay to ask about it, and Shay explained that she was back in Pennsylvania, visiting for a few days, and she couldn't find a flight back to Tennessee. Okay, no big deal. People visit their families. That's normal. Except, a week went by and Demi still hadn't heard anything from Shay, and the packages, they were still sitting there. So, she then reached out again, asking if Shay was coming home yet, or if the neighbor could drop off the packages. She also asked if Shay could take some pictures of the rugs at the house because the company that donated them wanted to use those photos for marketing purposes. But unfortunately, there was no response. So, she kept trying, and then finally, Shay replied, saying that she would be home that night and she would take the pictures. But that night came and went, and nothing happened. 3 more days passed before Demi reached out again, and Shay's excuse was she had only had Wi-Fi sometimes. Which doesn't quite add up, but okay. So for the next 2 months, the same pattern kept repeating. Demi would reach out, get no response at all, or some random excuse to why Shay wasn't back yet, or couldn't do whatever she was being asked to do. Eventually, Demi just donated all those packages to Goodwill because she couldn't get a straight answer about when Shay would actually be there to pick up the packages. And in October, Demi finally asked the question that was probably on her mind for months. She flat out asked Shay if she was actually planning to move into the house, because if not, she wanted to give it to someone who would actually live there and appreciate it. And Shay's response was interesting, to put it lightly. She said she definitely planned on moving in, but admitted that she had booked flights multiple times and then canceled them in the last minute because she was scared. She mentioned being afraid because she didn't have a driver's license and would have to rely on buses or Uber to get around. She also mentioned her dog, saying how much it loved it there and how she wanted to pass the house down to someone else who needed it. Demi's response was incredibly understanding and patient. She said that she totally got it, and she said she was proud of Shay and she didn't mind managing everything while Shay figured things out. But despite Demi's continued patience and support, 14 months went by with basically no updates and no real communication. So, after 14 months of managing a house from out of state with no real contact from the person who was actually living there, Demi and her husband decided they needed to drive to Tennessee to check on the property themselves. And what they found was so much worse than what they could have imagined. The house was completely trashed. There were urine stains on the floor, trash shoved in the closets, the kitchen was a disaster, and the fridge was full of rotten food.
So August 13th, 2023, I actually went down to Clarksville to see what was happening with this house. She hadn't been there in 14 months, and this is where things get insane. We got to the house, and the house was completely ruined. Everything inside, but essentially there was pee on the ground. All of the garbage that had been used in the month that she was there was jammed into closets, so you can imagine what it looks like after 14 months. I've never seen anything like this. I cried in the front yard of the house. Just can't imagine that somebody would do this. And after 14 months of me talking with her this entire time and her saying she was moving back, we're just waiting, we just needed more time. And I honestly believed that.
But this wasn't just neglect. There was intentional damage throughout the house. Things that would cost serious money to repair that had been deliberately destroyed. This place was basically uninhabitable after all of that work that they had done for free, essentially. There was no real upside with all the effort that they put in to this house except for giving a nice home to someone who was in need. The amount of time, energy, and money they put into this place to have it look like this? Why? Why would someone ever do that to someone? So immediately after discovering the state of the house, Demi messaged Shay, confronting her about the condition of the property. She said that she was shocked and devastated from what she found, and that if she didn't hear back, she would assume that due to the property damage and the health violations, Shay would no longer have access to the house. This time, Shay actually responded with an apology. She admitted that she was lost and confused about being an adult, and that she was only 19 years old and didn't know what she was doing. Shay then said that she was sorry about everything and that she was upset and disappointed in herself as well. No matter how you've been brought up, you can easily recognize someone's generosity here. And to completely neglect that and use the excuse of, oh, I'm only 19 years old, that is just laughably stupid. That is pathetic. I, like probably most of you guys, had moved out of my parents' house by the time I was 19. And I doubt any of us left our first home in that condition. So Demi rightfully reclaimed the house due to the extensive damage, and Shay accepted this with no resistance whatsoever. But then, 2 weeks later, as you can guess, the story just got even weirder. Shay then decided to post a TikTok video calling out Demi and making it seem like Demi had just decided to take the house back for no good reason at all.
You dumb bitch.
What? So at this point, Demi had stayed completely silent about what had actually happened. She hadn't said anything publicly about the condition of the house or anything about Shay's months of absence. So then, I guess she had to make this video.
You may have seen this video. In order to protect Shay, I had decided not to post anything about this entire situation, but now it's time to come with the receipts.
But when Shay posted that original video, Demi started getting bombarded with hate comments and messages from people who essentially thought that she cruelly took the house away from someone in need. This basically forced Demi's hand to provide all the receipts. So she had no choice but to share the screenshots of their text conversations and explain what had actually happened. The months of no communication, the trashed house, everything that we've covered up until now. And after Demi's side of the story blew up, it didn't take long for Shay to make all of her social media accounts private and remove all of her content. And as far as I know, since Shay never signed off for the house transfer documents, Demi still owns the house, and presumably had to spend even more money getting it back to a livable condition. However, after everything that happened, she understandably stopped sharing any future updates about the situation publicly, which is honestly just heartbreaking on every level. You have Demi, who spent so much time and probably tens of thousands of dollars turning a worthless bobby pin into a fully renovated house. Also, she could, I guess, try to change someone's life for the better. But then you have Shay, who, regardless of her rough circumstances, showed up and destroyed that dream. And unfortunately for Shay, that might have been the handout of her lifetime. Because honestly, I don't think there will ever be anyone else in her life that will step up for her like the stranger on the internet Demi did for her. The fact that it ended this way is just tragic for everyone involved. The truth is, like, we may never know the full story of what happened in that house during those 14 months. Was it just teenage irresponsibility? Was there some substance abuse involved? Maybe some mental health issues that weren't being addressed? Like, could it be that Shay was secretly renting the house out to other people, and they were the ones who destroyed this? You know, there's so many random possibilities here. Or maybe the problem was giving such a huge responsibility to someone so young who had never had any stability in their life. When you've never had a real home, maybe you don't know how to take care of it. Who knows? But what is clear is someone was given an incredible opportunity. A completely free house, no strings attached, along with $10,000 and a bunch of items, and somehow ended up trashing the place and disappearing for over a year. This whole situation is just a reminder that real life is very complicated, and sometimes even the most generous gestures can go wrong with no fault of the person trying to help. But hopefully, stories like this don't discourage people from being kind and generous in the future. The world definitely needs more people like Demi, who are willing to go out of their way and help others, even if it doesn't always work out the way they'd hoped for. But either way, what Demi and her husband did was incredibly inspiring, and nobody can ever take that away from you. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, drop a like and share if you enjoyed the story, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. No way to fly into my softbox. I've had one fly terrorize me for the last, 2 days.
Buddy,
28 days?
Previous roommates.
So let me say something that makes a lot of people pretty uncomfortable, and that is that the United States is not really a free market capitalist country. Not in the way that we've been taught to think about it.
Yeah.
What we actually live under is much closer to a corporatocracy. Actually, we live under a corporatocracy. A system where corporations dominate the political system. They shape the rules. They literally write the laws. And then they convince ordinary people like you and I
feudalism
that this is just
by
the market
concealment
working naturally. It's not.
Corporations can't do shit.
The free market is supposed to mean competition,
there are
risk,
people who own
reward,
those corporations.
innovation, and no one being so powerful that they can rig the rules for themselves. If you succeed because you built something better. If you fail because the market rejected you. That's the mythology Americans are raised on. Work hard, compete fairly, and the market will sort it all out. But that's not the country we live in. We actually have a system where giant corporations get tax breaks, bailouts, subsidies, regulatory carve-outs, public contracts, even legal immunity, in addition to all the cheap credit from the Federal Reserve. Government-backed monopolies, lobbyists writing the laws they're supposed to be subject to, and when they screw up, they don't fail. They get rescued. When working people screw up, they get lectured about responsibility. When corporations screw up, they get a rescue package. This is not free market capitalism. This is socialism for the powerful and market discipline for everyone else. What we have right now is socialism for corporations. Think about 2008. Millions of Americans lost homes, jobs, savings, retirements. Banks helped crash the global economy through reckless speculation and fraud. And what happened? Did they go under? Did the executives go to prison in large numbers? No, the federal government stepped in and rescued the financial system. The institutions that created the crisis were protected because they were, considered too big to fail? That's not capitalism. In capitalism, failure is supposed to matter. In a corporatocracy, failure is nationalized if the people failing are rich enough. Look at the airline industry, the auto industry, big ag, fossil fuel companies, pharmaceutical companies, defense contractors, Silicon Valley giants. The pattern is, it's always the same. They talk like these rugged capitalists when they're collecting profits. They turn into welfare queens the second too much risk appears. And the most cynical part of all this, the people running the system have convinced tens of millions of ordinary Americans that the real threat is not corporate power, it's socialism. Not the actual corporate dependency on public money, not the transfer of wealth upward, not the bought and paid for legislature, not the revolving door between regulations and industry. No, the real danger, they say, is some city council candidate who wants universal health care, labor rights, public housing, and tuition relief. That's the con. The corporatists in this country, the wealthy people who fully support socialism for corporations, are screaming at you that the democratic socialists of America are actually communists. Now, I am not a democratic socialist. I am a free market capitalist. But I also know that democratic socialists are not communists. The corporatists will tell you that because they fear the democratic socialists. The corporatists rely on socialism for corporations, and they don't want the people of America getting a taste of that. That's the con. Because once people understand what a corporatocracy is, then the whole game sort of becomes obvious. It's a system where large business interests dominate public life. Not just the economy itself, but the state itself. The government still exists, elections still exist, parties still exist, but the real governing logic becomes protect capital concentration, protect large firms, protect investor interests, protect incumbent wealth. Policy gets filtered through corporate priorities. Labor becomes a cost that must be suppressed. Consumers become revenue streams meant to be exploited. And citizens become spectators. And the wealthy need you not to see that. They need you emotionally attached to the fantasy that America is still a merit-based free market. Because the second you see the system clearly for what it is, you start asking very dangerous questions. Like, why do profitable corporations pay little or no federal income tax? Why are stock buybacks treated like a strategy while unions are treated like a threat? Why do prescription drug companies get patent protections, federal research support, and public reimbursement, but then turn around and charge Americans the highest price in the world? Why do defense contractors make fortunes from endless wars while veterans sleep under bridges? Why do we call food stamps for poor people dependency, but subsidies for billion-dollar corporations economic development? Because the language is rigged. When ordinary people get help, it's called welfare. When corporations get help, it's called policy. When workers organize, it's called class warfare. When billionaires lobby for tax cuts, it's called growth. The rhetorical trick is one of the central tools to a corporatocracy. And that brings us to why attacks on these democratic socialists are so relentless.
That's your claim.
Because democratic socialists, whatever you think of every policy they propose, threaten the narrative structure that keeps corporatocracy alive. It is not democratic socialists that are calling for the abolition of elections, the end of private property, or some Soviet-style command economy. What they're generally arguing for is basic human needs: healthcare, housing, education, labor protection, some retirement security. Should not be left entirely at the mercy of profit-maximizing corporations. They're arguing that democracy should have more power than capital. They're arguing that workers should matter more than shareholders, and that the public should have a say in the system that it depends on. And look, you can agree or disagree with those policies, and that is completely fine and completely fair.
What was it you said?
But calling that communism is entirely intellectually dishonest, and it's propaganda.
Check cashing.
The reason that wealthy interests and corporate media ecosystems love to blur every distinction between democratic socialism, social democracy, New Deal liberalism, and Soviet-style communism is simple. If they can make any and every reform sound like Stalin,
just stop.
Then they never have to debate the actual reform. If you say maybe healthcare shouldn't bankrupt people, they say socialism. If you say maybe workers could have a union, they say communism. If you say maybe billion-dollar corporations shouldn't be able to write the labor laws, they say that's class warfare.
This is a fucking cocksucker.
If you say maybe the government should serve the public more than the corporations,
yeah, no shit,
and more than the donors, they act like you've declared war on freedom itself.
Stop.
Why? Well, because it's in their interest to make sure the public never distinguishes between democratic control of essential systems and an authoritarian state control of everything.
Fucking.
What I'm saying is
Stop,
they need to
stop there.
They need a worker in Ohio drowning in medical debt to believe that his enemy is a democratic socialist talking about universal health care. Not the insurance company denying his claim.
Cocksucker.
They need a family in Texas paying an insane amount of money for rent to believe that their enemy is public housing policy and not a private equity firm buying every property in sight. They need a small business owner to believe that regulation is the problem, not the, monopoly giant undercutting him with government connections, preferential tax treatment, and market power that he can never compete with. That's why the word socialism gets deployed like this sort of panic button. Not because the people using it are always making some careful ideological distinction, but because they know it still works as a cultural weapon. It short-circuits your thought. It replaces analysis that you might do with fear. As long as the public is scared of the wrong things, then the real system is safe and remains completely untouched. And that is sort of the genius of a corporatocracy. You see, it doesn't just exploit people economically. It literally trains them to defend the very system that's exploiting them. It teaches them to call
you don't have an
corporate
option
welfare
unless it fucking
capitalism,
presents it to
and
you.
to call democratic accountability
Add a fucking document.
tyranny. So no. The United States is not some free market paradise being threatened by a bunch of rabid socialists. It's a corporate-run political economy pretending to be a free market while using anti-socialist panic to stop ordinary people from noticing who actually holds the power.
No.
And the second enough people understand that, this whole ideological shell game starts to collapse. And that's why they're scared. They're not scared of communism. They're scared of the people, you and I, having a little bit of clarity. And the reason I decided to speak about this tonight is because I made a very simple comment. I simply stated that big oil companies in the United States get far too many tax breaks. And that, in itself, is offensive to the American people who subsidize them, first of all, but then are exposed to the very volatility in the markets and high prices that are created by the policies that the big oil companies help our government write. You know, expecting a little accountability from corporations, expecting corporations not to get massive handouts all the time, when they're literally worth hundreds of billions of dollars, that's not socialist. That's not communist. That is literally free market capitalism. That is what that is based on. So when I say, hey, I'm tired of subsidizing big billion-dollar corporations, no matter what kind they are, whether it's oil companies, or Amazon, or Boeing, or pharmaceuticals, or health insurance companies. I'm tired of subsidizing those people. And since I'm tired of subsidizing these people, apparently, according to people in our society, that makes me a communist. But they're saying that because Donald Trump started calling the Democratic Socialists of America communists, even though I'm not a part of the Democratic Socialists of America. I'm an independent and a free market capitalist. And I believe the playing field for the corporations and the people should be level. I believe the playing field for corporations, for big corporations and small corporations, should be level. I don't think big corporations should have access to the White House and the ability to create policy that eliminates their competition and enriches them through subsidies. I don't believe that is a pillar of free market capitalism. That is a corporatocracy. And we have a corporatocracy, and our government is currently being run by corporatists who love socialism for big billion-dollar corporations because it enriches them too. The fraud in this country is not what you think it is. It's not someone applying for Medicare in Minnesota. It's not someone applying for SNAP in California. The fraud in this country is the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, that are sucked out of our economy to further enrich big multi-billion-dollar corporations as they continue to hold their thumb down on the American worker. That's the fraud in this country. And when you speak out against corporations and the gifts that we, the taxpayers, are forced to thrust on you all the time, in this country that supposedly makes you a communist, but that is because people in this country think with fear. They fail to look at the system they live under. Lower middle class conservative workers in this country who can't afford to go to the doctor will fight to the death for multi-billion-dollar corporations to continue to get multi-billion-dollar tax cuts. That is about as ironic as you can get. Unbelievable. Folks, if you haven't had a chance, please check out the American Power podcast, available on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you can find your podcast. You can also watch it on the Find Out Media YouTube page. Other than that, please let me know your thoughts, comments, and questions in the comment section below. I really appreciate all my followers and subscribers. And I hope you guys have a great week. Thanks.
Open the fucking Yeah. Fucking end it. Oh, now you want to do a search, huh? Stop. Stop. That is for that is for space as fucking question. So. Alright, well, oh goddamn, yeah. Oh. This is a fucking brave. Fucking well, nah, I don't think it is. Fucking lie here. Why can't you just fucking said that? Oh, they don't know do shit, does it? See, you motherfuckers, god damn it, every fucking time we go set fucking settings, y'all fucking turn around and fucking change everything. Urgh.
The way we're using the internet, it's as if, you know, the ancient Egyptians built the pyramids of Giza, and we found out that the reason they did it was to sell fishing equipment, rather than to, you know, make a god king a palace that he could carry into the afterlife.
I don't fucking call.
Last week, Pump Fun, a platform where you can buy and trade meme coins, launched Pump Fun Go, a new service where you can pay anyone to do anything. Users can create and compete on bounties for any task. The company claimed that this new feature would, quote, leverage the power of humans and money across the globe. What it has actually done is create a new dystopian market where poor and desperate people debase themselves and others for small amounts of money. As many online have pointed out, this is literally the plot of a very famous Black Mirror episode. On Pump Fun Go, all bounties center on promoting meme coins. And because outrage consistently goes viral, meme coin owners have leaned into offensive content. In one instance, a meme coin owner paid a black man to tie watermelon chunks to his face and repeat the phrase, "I'm your friend, the watermelon man," 10,000 times for $950. A significant amount of bounties on Pump Fun involve harassing or occasionally helping homeless people. There's a bounty right now for $957 to make 100 jars of pineapple Kool-Aid and give them to homeless people while filming them. There are also just a lot of bounties that encourage people to act recklessly. There's one seeking someone to run down the street half naked screaming "job coin" for $238. Another man recently drank his own urine for cash. There's a bounty for harassing Kathy Hochul and several for interviewing different figures. Another bounty for just $65 implores users to go to a local golf course, use an air horn while people are golfing, and scream the name of a meme coin. Forehead tattoos have become kind of a meme on Pump Fun Go already. A bunch of people are getting them, and some are selling space on their face for as little as $13. Other bounties involve harassing service workers. One bounty offers $98 to sexually harass a gas station attendant. You can also make $67 by harassing a McDonald's employee. A lot of people participating in these challenges appear to be in countries that lack economic opportunity. For instance, a scroll through the submissions on a recent bounty where people had to hold up a sign that read "stupid" in public for 5 minutes is full of people in developing areas of the globe posting in broken English. Now, the platform is only a week old, and the platform technically has the ability to reject any bounty submission. Shortly after launch, a bunch of users on X were claiming that there was a post offering $690,000 to yourself, but when I looked into it, that post was either removed or it just never existed. Regardless, Pump Fun Go is just the latest in a new class of platforms that is defining the next phase of the attention economy. Prediction markets like Kalshi and Polymarket are part of this shift, as is the rise of UGC marketing. I think we can call this the bounty economy, because all of these platforms, Pump Fun Go, Polymarket, SideShift, a big UGC platform, and others, are building this new synthetic reality where an increasing number of things we encounter IRL or in the online world are not spontaneous occurrences. Instead, they're effectively commissioned performances designed to generate attention, engagement, and ultimately financial rewards. And all of this is having a crazy effect on the world around us, and I would argue our political system. Just this week, it was revealed that Polymarket has been sponsoring posts from a slew of far-right influencers pushing election conspiracies and disinformation. The newsletter Popular Information uncovered a network of at least 16 influencers with a collective audience of 13 million publishing election-related misinformation sponsored by Polymarket. On Pump Fun Go, you can make $33 promoting election fraud conspiracies about the South Korean presidential election. The politician Lee Jae-myung won, but a meme coin promoter on Pump Fun is paying users to post allegations of fraud. In the Pump Fun Go bounty, they specifically say, quote, your call-out must include the words dictator or election fraud. And Pump Fun Go's launch video, by the way, makes it totally clear that they're okay with these meme coin connoisseurs warping our political system. In the first few seconds of the video, they show AI-generated footage of people putting up posters promoting a politician as the words, what if you could pay people to do anything, like anything, flash on screen. Later in the video, Pump Fun promotes the fact that users can get paid for protesting. And there's been plenty of legitimate concern by politicians and the media about powerful bad actors weaponizing the internet to push their ideological agenda. But I think this new era of spreading disinformation or debasing yourself as gig work will be much harder to fight. So to discuss Pump Fun Go and what all of this means for the future of the internet and society, I have Aiden Walker, a meme researcher here, and Adam Alexic, known online as Etymology Nerd. All three of us are in a group chat, and when Pump Fun Go launched, we couldn't stop talking about this, so I thought I'd have them on the pod to break down what this new market means and what effects we're already seeing it have. Adam, Aiden, welcome.
Hi. Happy to be here. Hi.
So, to start off, for people that are not super in the loop on this stuff, what is Pump.Fun?
Yeah, I've been following it for a while in terms of the meme coins and how they have deregulated cryptocurrencies where anybody can trade, and there are incentives sometimes to pump up certain meme stocks and create a viral sensation. I've been sort of paying attention to this in the context of there are viral social media posts that redirect you back to this meme stock to drive up the value. So people are posting online to get more traction for Pump.Fun. But now it seems like things have gone in another direction as well.
Yeah, I first became aware of Pump.Fun kind of around the launch, which was back in January 2024. Obviously, crypto had been a thing for a couple years at that point. Memes were a thing. I feel like you were beginning to see this like coalescence of like meme culture, internet culture. That's when a lot of these like Skibbity coin and like Doge, etc., like had gone viral. And so these three guys wanted to create a marketplace basically for these meme coins. They made Pump.Fun. Pump.Fun has kind of like gone through lots of iterations. By the end of 2024, they had launched this live streaming feature, which they quickly had to roll back. which I feel like was sort of spiritually similar to Pump Fund Go, which they just launched, because this live streaming feature allowed anybody to effectively live stream to hype their meme coin, and people very quickly began like abusing themselves, threatening to kill animals on stream, etc. if their meme coin didn't go to 1 million, things like that. And so they had to shut that down pretty quick. It went back to just being a regular crypto meme coin market, and now they've launched Pump Fund Go.
Yeah, I think it's important to understand these are complete like gambling degenerates that will do anything to drive up the value of their coin, and some of it is sort of scientific, like you can plan it out, like get the most extreme views, but some of it is just like these people are desperate to make the value go up, and it's like they are addicted to it.
Yeah, it's literally treating the internet as a casino, and Pump has made a platform to do that with. And then the meme coin is kind of the perfect slot pull, and you do whatever you can, put as much on the line in order to, you know, get the return you're looking for.
So I texted you guys about Pump Fund Go earlier this week because I was like, I feel like I'm going crazy. I had messaged a bunch of other journalism people about it, and they just were not paying attention to it. I feel like it kind of launched and flew under the radar for some reason, which is kind of crazy. The only website that I could find that really wrote it up was Dexerto, which mostly writes up like influencer drama news.
Dexerto is always on this stuff.
They're so tapped in, and I literally do read that website on a near daily basis, so I shouldn't be slandering Dexerto. But it seems like it sort of like launched without a lot of fanfare, especially compared to something like Dare Market, which was a really similar product that launched last year, got a lot of outrage, and kind of flopped immediately. For years, there's been this kind of obsession with this like Black Mirror style of platform where you can like pay anybody to do anything. And I feel like, you know, you've seen lots of like iterations of it over the years. They've always kind of flopped. I think because it wasn't tied in with actual financial reward in the way that we're seeing with meme coins.
Yeah, my first thought is this was completely presaged by the movies Nerve 2016 and Spree 2020, where it envisioned this Black Mirror-esque dystopia where people live stream and they're paid to do crazy tasks. And I think you're absolutely right. This like financial incentive is what makes it something that will seriously affect culture and potentially has that staying power, which is really terrifying because you can make people do terrible acts and affect a real reality through treating the internet as a game.
Well, I think it's like what's so interesting to me about this is like in all those sort of like entertainment world depictions of these types of platforms, there's not this like marketing aspect to it. And I feel like that's what's kind of making this platform successful, is that it's not just that you're paying people to like do extreme things, it's that that person, while they're doing the extreme thing, is marketing a meme coin. They're like, you know, doing something ridiculous. Like I saw this guy pouring chicken broth all over his face. Multiple men actually did this, poured chicken broth all over their face in the middle of a supermarket while shouting the name of a meme coin. And that seems to be this like, I guess like magic aspect of it that's really unlocked something, because I think there's only so many people that want to watch someone like do something terrible to themselves, but when that person is also engaging in marketing, then it kind of becomes valuable.
I was going to say that it's not just the money that comes from the meme coin or the crypto coin itself, it's also monetization rewards on the platforms. You know, so if in a sense you can do something that is ridiculous enough that a creator is going to talk about it, a journalist is going to talk about it, Twitter is going to have discourse about it, there's this other revenue stream as well. You know, just being that ridiculous, doing anything for attention. I feel like the crypto casino meme coin market is just kind of this new turbocharged, more immediate, and in a way more certain financial reward version of that, rather than, you know, waiting for the TikTok payout to come or waiting for the merch to drop. You can just kind of immediately monetize on this coin.
Yeah, and to me it feels like this like next era of the influencer sort of ecosystem or attention economy, because the people that are completing these tasks are not influencers. And, you know, in peak sort of YouTube prank culture back in 2017, 2018, 2019, like, you had to first build up an audience, and then you would do the extreme ridiculous prank, you know, then you'd pour broth all over yourself in the middle of the aisle, then you'd get views, then you'd monetize, and it was sort of like this thing that, you know, influencers would engage in this ridiculous stuff because they could monetize attention. Now anybody can monetize attention, and I think it's like the 99.9% of people that are participating in these challenges on these platforms, they're just average people, and often very poor people in sort of developing countries. They're not influencers with any sort of online audience, and actually getting online attention for something like this would probably be more harmful to them than better.
I agree that it's kind of the next step, and there is a difference in that it's not someone with, you know, 2 million followers in California or something.
What's the AI? What's wrong with this fucking AI? Why don't this motherfucker want to?
What strikes me is that there is some amount of money, less money that the person doing the ridiculous painful thing is making, but that the lion's share of the money is getting made by the people in this crypto community who are hyping up the meme coin, investing in it as it's getting pumped, and then having the person humiliate themselves in order to get the money.
I think a lot about Baudrillard's prediction that the body is the final frontier of capitalism, that once we've exhausted all our outward commodification of everything, we turn inward. And we already sort of see this with looks maxing, and I think this is kind of looks maxing with other people's bodies. Now that you can optimize your own body with Ozempic and, you know, peptides and all these new strategies, we can turn to other people's bodies and make them worse than ours, especially if there's a power or income disparity, and that's very alarming to me.
Do you get overwhelmed tracking your spending? I used to dread checking my bank account at the end of the month and trying to see if I had enough money for rent. Then I discovered Monarch. Monarch is a platform that lets me stay on top of my finances all in one place. It gives me a clear view of things, so I always know where I stand financially. Monarch breaks down my spending into different categories and provides updates that keep me honest about how much I'm splurging on things like delivery. The app syncs with over 13,000 financial institutions, and the setup is so fast and secure. You can join Monarch today using the URL linked below or scan the QR code on the top right of the screen. Once you're in Monarch, you can see everything in a really easy-to-view dashboard that flags spending increases, unusual transactions, or notable changes in your finances. Personal finance always really overwhelmed me, but Monarch makes me feel in control. As you guys know, I also care a lot about data privacy. Monarch is private and ad-free, so there's no one selling your data. It works beautifully on your phone or laptop, so you can switch between devices really easily. Monarch feels like my trusty financial sidekick. It helps me make informed decisions about money without any judgment or stress. Click the link below and give Monarch a try today. Scan the QR code on the screen and use my discount code TL50 for 50% off. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think of that a lot with like the ways that people are asking others to mutilate themselves, you know, whether it's through like extreme tattoos or, you know, engaging in harmful behavior that could result in becoming deformed. I also think that there's something like beyond bodies that's happening where it's monetizing like an event. It's monetizing this sort of like big unit of reality where like they're able to create events or create things that are happening in the real world that are ultimately just like meme coin marketing stunts, and this is increasingly shaping our like offline reality. I think of a couple years ago I was researching potentially doing a book on OnlyFans when a lot of this stuff started to happen, especially a couple years into the pandemic when people started to get outside more. You started to see a lot of these like collective viral stunts. I mean, I think you could put the lookalike contests in here in some part, but you also start to see people doing things like, I don't know, flashing the NYC portal or just being ridiculous. And a lot of these viral news stories, when you dig into them, actually they're just covert promotion for OnlyFans. And then it sort of became like live streamers, and it just seemed like we're reading these news stories about these events, or we're witnessing these events increasingly in the world, and we sort of take them at face value, or we maybe see them and have our own opinions on them, but all of it is sort of like covert marketing. And it just seems like there's more and more of this like sort of covert marketing that's affecting our like IRL reality in a way that like previously maybe those stunts would mainly affect like the internet reality.
The goal of these meme coins is to get people talking about them. The marketing is the fact that we're doing this podcast right now. And it's so hard to like even talk about this because how are we going to raise awareness without contributing to them? I wrote an article on Pump.Fun pumping racist memes, and the meme coin I mentioned shot up in value after I wrote the article. How can you even discuss this? Their point is to generate discourse at any cost, and once we have discourse about the discourse, which is the common cycle of how social media operates, is an event occurs, and then we talk about the event, and then we talk about how we're talking about the event, and all of this is still about the marketing. Look at, I mean, regular marketing's caught on to it. Look at the Sydney Sweeney jeans thing from last year. That was clearly they just wanted to piss people off so they could get people talking about how they were pissed off, and the whole time American Eagle stock is going through the roof. You see the same thing with the models. They're kind of the pioneers. Porn is always the pioneer of any new technology, and live streamers like Clavicular, as long as you get people talking about you, that is the marketing. And I'm really worried that there's an incentive to create a deliberate mimetic info hazard where we want to talk about something that is bad for us, and in doing so we normalize it. We make more eyeballs move toward that thing.
But I mean, at the same time, we have to talk about it, because I think not talking about it and not covering these markets allows them to proliferate in a really unregulated way with zero oversight or scrutiny. And I mean, this is how a lot of the early prediction markets got power, and I think actually those prediction markets are sort of similar in a way to what we're witnessing with Pump Fun. Like, it's all very intertwined. I would also put, like, UGC, the rise of UGC marketing in here, which we're now witnessing being used for political purposes, where political candidates are, you know, in California are paying some random lady in Minnesota or Pennsylvania just to post positively about them through a UGC platform. Literally, Tom Steyer did that. So it seems like all of these things, like prediction markets, UGC marketing, Pump Go, etc., are sort of tied up in each other, and they're all about just getting, like, average, regular people to engage in discrete marketing. And that discrete marketing is warping our information ecosystem, it's warping our physical reality, it's warping potentially our political system, and it seems really dangerous.
I was going to add, I think we're kind of living in a situation where everything is ambiently a psyop. You know, like the Sydney Sweeney jeans thing is a great example. The company is totally agnostic to what people are saying, to the values motivating what they're saying. It's just pure engagement. You know, if you can get just the raw volume of clicks and eyeballs on something, then that's how you make money. And I think the same thing is true with a lot of this Pump Fun stuff. Like when I first saw the post of the guy with the tattoo on his head, I think I had a response a lot of people had, which is like, Chad, is this real? You know, is this an AI, could this be an AI-generated video? Is this a guy who's in on the plot somehow? Is this to promote the platform? Is this to, you know, he's coordinating somehow with the crypto people? And I think the answer for all of this stuff is, to some extent, yes, all of the above. You know, in some way it's a scam, in some way it's a setup, and there's a certain exhaustion of being like, okay, I could go through it, fact check, figure out what's going on, but everything I am seeing is to some extent a psyop. And the horrible thing is that it kind of doesn't matter. And so I think people are just sort of inundated with these things, and everything is like a little bit a lie, a little bit, you know, a scam.
Which I think has made people more conspiratorial.
Reasonably so, yeah.
I mean, everything is kind of collapsing between is it a scam and is it real. I was thinking recently about the Knicks games and how after the Knicks game they're doing these interviews through Kalshi, and this viral clip went out of this guy saying, my mayor Muslim, my bagels Jewish, my Christian Dior Nixon 4. It was on a Kalshi mic. And if you look at that clip over and over again, you'll see the Kalshi advertisement. And then afterward they do the post interview, and he's talking about, oh, I saw that green Kalshi mic and I just had to say that, you know. And so what they're doing is they're farming these real life moments to their like UGC, the Tom Steyer stuff, absolutely. The end goal of brands re-territorializing onto the internet, where they're retaking control of the means of power online, is that everything is brought to you by a brand ambiently, like Aiden said.
I'm curious also just like what motivates people to participate in these markets. Like, obviously there's companies and powerful people that want to leverage these systems to push their own, you know, agenda or make money, etc. But we were talking on text about this idea of like making people into kind of Tamagotchis, and social media influencers have talked about this for a long time, about feeling like the internet is controlling them, or feeling like people just want to dictate, you know, how popular they are, what they do. There was this platform that Andreessen Horowitz founded a few years ago called New that literally allowed you to control different influencers. If an influencer signed up to this platform, basically they would be subject to the whims of their fan base, who could vote on different, you know, things that they did. They could vote if the person broke up with their boyfriend, or like, you know, basically sort of affect these influencers' lives, and the influencer would do it for money. And it feels like that was sort of this like proto version of what we're seeing now, just with real people, where I think there's a certain amount of people that are going on these meme coin sites because they want to exert some sort of level of control over others.
I would say it's sort of twofold. One reason is kind of craven, in that everything's ambiently a psyop. But then the second part is maybe a little bit less evil, like the internet Tamagotchi thing. The creator who made that argument about Charli D'Amelio, one of the original TikTok dancing people, this creator Dottie, made a great video about it. And what she sort of said was people were using Charli D'Amelio to talk about techno-capitalism, all the controversies about could Charli D'Amelio, you know, take a dance from someone? Is that plagiarism? How do we deal with things online? And then the creator, the internet's Tamagotchi, kind of becomes the text by which people are talking about this, in the same way that like a movie might represent something that society needs to talk about, and people argue about the movie, people argue about the creator. And I think when you're at the center of that as a creator, it's painful, but it's maybe not quite as evil as like people being like, oh, hey, I'm going to use the platform to go make somebody in a, you know, a country in another part of the world hurt themselves, because I can be in on the scam instead of being scammed.
Yeah, but it is also what like influencers were doing for content. Like there was those years of, I mean, PewDiePie literally got canceled for this, where like he paid a bunch of people in a foreign country to hold up a really offensive sign about Jewish people, you know, and like that was this popular thing back in the days of Fiverr. And I was on Thumbtack actually looking for help hanging some stuff because I moved recently, and like you can pay people to do anything for you. It's kind of crazy. So it seems like we're just seeing this sort of like gig work economy like put onto like internet marketing now, and that I think has some kind of like weird implications.
I've been developing what I call the lolcow theory of the internet, where we started out with creators called lolcows that people make fun of and prod just to elicit a reaction, right? But everything on the internet is a form of lolcowism when the body is controlled by the viewer. I mean, Cameo is a form of this. Like, you just make the creator say something you want to say, right? You are using that person's body to produce an effect that you want. And once we move to other people, that becomes like everybody is lolcow online. By making yourself legible to other people, you make yourself able to be poked and prodded and manipulated. I'm also really worried about how even looking at someone inherently in real life is a kind of a violent act, because you make them an object of your possession. To look is to have. You project your ideas about who this person might be, even though they're infinitely more complex. And Sontag writes about how the camera, to take a photograph, is an extension of this. You memorialize this person in your image in the way you want them to look. The video absolutely is the same thing. And so when we have this sort of element of audience capture or control of the people making the videos, it is a form of violence onto the creator. And again, I've made myself legible as an influencer, that's okay with me, but I'm worried about everyday users online, where if you have your account on Instagram set publicly, that just opens up, like, I see random posts go viral on Instagram all the time, and you have no more control over who on Twitter is going to be reposting this image you sent out, and now there's like creeps and weirdos and perverts like on your Instagram post, and you never meant to do that, but by making yourself appear online, you become a lolcow.
Yeah, I also think just like all of the people that are willing to debase themselves online, you know, for these Pump Fun Go challenges or bounties are lolcows. Like, they're engaging in lolcow behavior. That is what everybody is sort of getting out of it. I mean, I was watching some of these videos and people just doing like the most ridiculous things. And also I think the bounties are aimed at humiliation, kind of, in a way that, like, I guess you wouldn't pay somebody for on Cameo as overtly. I'm just thinking of this video that went viral on X that we were talking about on our chat, of like this older black man who had tied chunks of watermelon to his face and just repeated the phrase, "I'm your friend, the watermelon man," 10,000 times for $950. I mean, it's bleak.
There's a weird unwholesomeness too, not just in the fact that it's bleak and humiliating what's going on, but that it's like people are egging that on. You know, it's not just one person who asked the guy to, you know, tie the watermelons to his face and repeat that phrase. It's kind of like the mass intelligence of people.
Well, it's everyone that holds the meme coin, right?
Yeah, it's the crowd itself sort of being able to command one person's body and get them to do something out in the world for them. And I think with creators, sometimes there's a positive side of that, which is that you might be getting someone to go out into the world and do charity work, or you might be getting someone to go out into the world and talk about the issue you care about. But then there's always this flip side that's always there, and that I think is especially accentuated with this Pump Fun crypto stuff, where they only really care about money and, you know, power, where it's, you can make that person do whatever you want. You can be the puppeteer.
Yeah, but I would say actually a significant amount of bounties are positive stuff. I think because kindness influencers and the Mr. Beastification of the internet has happened, and like everybody loves kindness slap, like actually a huge amount of these bounties are positive. I'll give some examples that I pulled. I mean, you can get paid $100 to collect trash at your local park while promoting a meme coin. You can get paid to buy a stranger's groceries while promoting a meme coin. You can get paid to give out flowers to random people on the street while promoting a meme coin. You can get paid to pay a homeless person to sing on the street while promoting a meme coin. You can get paid to plant trees while promoting a meme coin. And again, like, the rub is you have to be promoting the meme coin. Like, for instance, with that bounty that was about picking up trash, the person has to film themselves shouting "bounty trash," the name of the meme coin, sorry if that helps them, while doing it. And it's like, yeah, is it good that we've created a financialized system that incentivizes people to go pick up trash in their neighborhood? Sure, but I think it would be weird to see that person also, like, picking up trash, shouting "bounty trash." Like, that just feels like dystopian. I just feel like our physical reality is being increasingly warped by these markets, whether it's prediction markets, Pump Fun Go, etc.
It is affecting our physical world, in that you have stuff like the poly market that's seen to be made by members of the military who have advanced knowledge of things, and you have this kind of reorientation, I see, of not just the influencer economy and creators and journalism, but also like politicians towards like the short-term thing that will give you the immediate payout. And I worry that we just see this kind of continual looting, you know, of just sort of reality in order to cash out on your pump fund meme coin, because who cares about actually your reputation when, hey, I can make $300 by shouting something crazy on the internet. And there's a certain amount of that you could do and things are fine, but if you do too much, stuff starts to fall apart maybe.
I'm concerned about that rise of political UGC. In Indonesia, they have a concept of a buzzer, which is user-generated political commentator that they are deliberate psyops meant to promote a candidate. They're paid by campaigns. And you're sort of seeing the beginning of this with the Tom Steyer stuff, but to a much lesser degree. In Indonesia, the people will constantly warn each other in social media comments like, beware of buzzers. And there's a general heightened awareness of the fact that everybody's running a psyop, and they've kind of given up on that. It's just like, all right, now we just got to pay attention if this is a psyop or not. And that's probably going to be the endpoint of the U.S. as well, where every election can also be manipulated, especially through bounties, especially through people's financially vested prediction market calls. So I'm really concerned about that.
Yeah, I feel like people just lose trust in the world. And I mean, Charlie Warzel wrote a good piece on this, more related to sort of poly market, which was, I think, was sort of like the beginning of this shift into this new attention economy. And Jason Kebler at 404 Media called it the depravity economy. So what Charlie wrote was, as the depravity economy grows, it will break whatever trust we have left in one another. If prop bets spur athletes to play differently, this poses an existential threat to the integrity of live sports. If people believe that anonymous government insiders are profiting off classified information, what reason is there to trust anything that the administration says? There's a term called the liar's dividend, which describes an information environment where mis and disinformation such as deepfakes become so prevalent that anyone accused of doing something awful can simply use them to cast doubt on genuine evidence. Prediction markets offer an insider's dividend, creating an environment where the prevalence of prediction markets and insider trading becomes great enough that everyone assumes a given decision was made to enrich those with an edge. And I feel like this has actually been exacerbated by something like Pump Fund Go, where it's like everything can be seen in service of a meme coin. I mean, for instance, I was walking down the street in LA recently, and I saw this guy doing just ridiculous things with like drawing with chalk kind of all over. I thought maybe he was doing like an art project or something, but then my second thought was like, oh, this is probably some stunt. Like, this is probably, maybe it's gonna be a meme coin promotion. Maybe it's gonna be something. Like, you just don't know what to trust at all. And I think you see this rippling down, where like people just, we're in this sort of like low trust information ecosystem, where even like the controversy over something like Geese, right, which did engage in UGC marketing. That doesn't mean that the band is not popular on its own right, but like just the existence of marketing kind of like discredits everything. And I mean, you saw this actually also with the conversation around clipping. We all know that like clipping campaigns, every brand does them, and like you can't make somebody popular just from clipping alone. There has to be something behind them. Like Clippicular took off not just because of clipping, but because he was this sort of like avatar for all of these bigger trends that people wanted to talk about. And I feel like now that we're seeing just so much marketing, and every single event is now like a marketing vehicle, it makes it easier to sort of discredit everything, and then it's like, what can you even trust?
And even if that chalk artist made a really beautiful illustration on the sidewalk, if they're an artist, they're gonna have to post it online to get renowned as an artist. Like, I think Geese is a fine band, but at the end of the day, they are, both truths can be held at the same time, that they are psyoping you and that they're a good band. And the same thing with this hypothetical chalk artist. The end result, I think, of all of this ecosystem is that we return to economy of trust, and authenticity has been a buzzword for a while, but authenticity is always like this appearance of trust rather than trust itself, or appearance of truth. Trust will be this sort of, you really need to have a deep, ongoing relationship with this person where you are convinced that they are not trying to manipulate your headspace.
Yeah, and I feel like also you're going to see a lot more people just say, like, I am actively not engaging in marketing, right? Or I have never engaged in marketing. Like, this is truly organic, or like, I'm doing this for the love of the game. I'm pouring broth on my, on my head just because I want to. I don't know. But I do think, like, when you can't trust anything, there is this, like, fatigue that sets in. And I think a lot of people also just want to, like, check out. Like, they're exhausted by the, like, overt marketing that we're bombarded by all day. And now this like covert marketing that just seems to have like warped every single aspect of our world.
I see that exhaustion as well, and just everything could be fake, everything could be just a marketing psyop. What if I don't actually like geese because I like geese? Like, that's just emotionally draining space to be in.
Yeah, and I think this is also just what's driving this like offline movement and people trying to kind of like escape this world. What I would say to those people is like, good luck, because the offline world is also just equally warped. Like, the offline world has become the default stage for the internet, and you personally logging off is not going to allow you to opt out of this society that we've built. It's just going to make you less informed.
Yeah, and you're downstream of all these ideas which are actually coming from online.